Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about Hilti's new dust extractor. It's the VC 4X-22, recent upgrade to their 22 volt dust collector line. It is touted to have more efficient suction and to accommodate users' requests. They had demands for larger capacity tanks on wheels for concrete diamond cutting type stuff. So here's what stands out about this upgrade. First of all, it's a multiple accessory configuration, so you can make your own configuration. It's a vacuum head, and it comes with an 8-liter tank that connects to a backpack set or alone, and a 15-liter tank that is actually connected to a wheeled dolly. You can get plastic bags for silica dust and zip ties. You can get fleece bags, sawdust, and other debris. They come with 6-foot hoses for the backpack wall drilling, but also for the other wheeled cart, and you can also get a 9-foot hose option. There is a Bluetooth dongle. There are HEPA filter options and universal wet-dry filters. Here's an interesting note not a lot of folks know. The plastic bags that you get in these vacuums, they have holes on the outside edges of them. The holes should be on the inside of the tank to prevent suction into the filter, allowing for better performance with some, you're gonna get some dust leakage, but it works way better. All right, I want to talk a little bit about runtime and that Bluetooth dongle. I like the dongle. When equipped with a 255 battery, you're going to get 21 to 22 minutes of continuous runtime. Doesn't seem like a lot. However, this vacuum is primarily designed as a dust extractor, and when connected to a tool that powers it on and off, you're going to get all day runtime or more. Hilti provides this Bluetooth dongle that attaches either to the hose end or directly to the tool. And we used it recently. We used it on a DeWalt miter saw when cutting PVC, and the vacuum ran all day in an on and off fashion and was half full at the end of the day. We were cutting a bunch of house trim. To make sure that we used the vacuum, we attached the dongle right to the front and center, right to the handle of the miter saw. And this reminded us to use it, to turn it on and off for our cuts. The dongle was designed to preserve battery life, and it worked for us, 100%. On another project, we used it with our Festool miter saw and attached it right to the end of the hose where it attaches and plugs in or into the dust port. We also used it on a Milwaukee miter saw and table saw. Worked great. Since we're talking about runtime and Hilti batteries, an interesting note to know about Hilti batteries and their battery charges for the 22 volts. The Hilti charger will charge the battery in less than an hour, and it will reach 80% in the first half hour. So if you need a battery sooner, you can pull it off the charger after a half hour and you've got an 80% full battery ready to go. But regardless, my opinion is 2 batteries will guarantee you all day runtime if you're cutting a ton of stuff or leaving the vacuum on. I want to talk about the power head design. The power head, it has a top folding handle, which was super convenient for carrying it around, making it real easy to carry. There are 2 large, kind of solidly designed clamps, and that holds the power head to either vacuum tank. The filter attaches underneath the power head and is easily inspected or replaced, pops out. One thing you might miss if you're not looking for it is Hilti added a black flange between the filter and the power head. And that's designed so that you can only install the filter in one way, to the power head. Hilti upgraded this because many users were installing that filter backwards, which would introduce air into the turbine and blowing out the sides. Let me see, the user interface. So the dust extractor is pretty intuitive. It has symbol-like labels to assist you. The dashboard has an on-off and Bluetooth knob. There is also an LED indicator to alert users when the tank is full of water. Yes, this vacuum can be used wet-dry vac. Why? I'm not 100% sure. I'd rather use a cheap shop vac for that, but maybe Hilti is thinking forward with concrete cutting or wet cutting or something like that. We're just giving us options. There's also an eco button on the dashboard, which allows users to reduce the vacuum power to 60% to conserve battery, or when 100% suction is not needed, such as maybe in some sanding applications. I did not find myself using the eco. I just let the thing go on, off, and deal with it. I do that with lights. I run them on high. So I don't think about the eco button, but you might find it useful. If you look underneath the power head, you'll also see 2 stainless steel sensors. And that's used, that's to detect water levels in the tank. All right, let's talk about suction and power, or how the vacuum performed for me. The 4X-22 certainly has plenty of suction for both tool attachment to a tool as also for cleanups. And while not designed as a heavy debris and demolition waste vacuum, it worked well for small cleanups. Hilti sells accessories like floor sweeps, nozzles, pretty much making this vacuum suitable for both dust extraction as well as small surface cleanups, kind of well-rounded. As I mentioned earlier, I use the vacuum primarily on exterior repair projects, ripping and cutting PVC trim on table saws and miter saws. And that creates a lot of dust. If you've worked with PVC before, you know it sticks to everything. It's a huge mess to clean up. Clients don't like it on their property. The vacuum performed excellently. It collected the dust from the miter saw and table saw. It actually worked so well, we are now using it all the time for this purpose. I've also used it to collect sawdust on a few small cleanups, and it worked great as well. I have a floor sweep attachment that fits it, a Hilti one, and I used the vacuum on a client's floor and a rug, and I had great results. It's an all-around great vacuum in a small size. Filter and filter cleaning. So Hilti offers fleece bags designed to protect the filter from sawdust and other debris. Sawdust is bad for filters. It clings to the filter, and it really it resists auto filter cleaning. So on the dashboard, there's actually a button. It's a power clean button, and that's to power clean the filter. It's recommended that you actually put your hand on the end of the hose and let pressure build up, and then press the button 3 to 5 times. Doing this effectively cleans the filter better than the regular interval auto clean. One interesting note is that I learned about was this type of vacuum, these filters, they're not really designed to tap or use compressed air on them. You can damage them. I didn't know that. I've been doing that for years and never knew that. So that was one thing I learned when researching this. There are 2 filters available. There's a HEPA filter and a universal wet-dry filter. They both cost around 50 bucks, and they both should last you a few months of regular use. Let's talk about the 2 different sized vacuum tanks. So the 15-liter tank, my favorite, it's attached to a 2-wheel cart. This is the configuration that I prefer, and especially because the 2-wheel cart, it allows me to wheel that vacuum in and out of job sites easy. Both Hilti Dust tanks are engineered with kind of reinforced ribbing if you look inside them, and that's to prevent collapsing from the increased pressure buildup that they've built into these vacuums. The larger tank actually improves performance of this vacuum by maintaining vacuum pressure inside the tank as it fills with debris. It just has more room for pressure. The telescoping cart on the back of the tank, it worked great. Allows you to maneuver the vacuum. You can lock the handle by activating kind of a rotating pivot lock. On the back side where the wheels are, there are black supports or stair slides mounted to the rear. And that protects the stairs when you're navigating up and down stairs. I found the cart wheels were durable, navigating on gravel, asphalt, dirt, no issues. It was fine. The front of the cart has like a kind of extended little outriggers, and that provides good stability when it's standing up, and when you're pulling a little bit on the hose, it doesn't tip over, which I found very, very nicely detailed and designed. I store this vacuum in this configuration on the sidewall of my van, and it actually stays put. I have a strap for it, but if I forget to put the strap on, it stays put with those little outriggers. The tank cart is backwards compatible on Hilti's vacuum, the VC 140, and allows anyone looking for an upgrade or an exchange to that Fleece program, which I thought was great. I want to talk now about the 8-liter tank and the backpack setup. So the backpack's designed to be used with the smaller 8-liter tank configuration. It's designed for users who are wall drilling or maybe overhead drilling, and they've got it on their back. The backpack harness, it has 4 tabs that actually intersect into the power head and a red clip that locks it in place. We found the vacuum backpack attachment easy to attach to the power head in a small tank. It was comfortable, easy to wear, walk around with. There's plenty of padding and for adjustments as well. Let's move on to talk a little bit about the anti-static vacuum hose and grounding that Hilti built into this machine. So to address user feedback about static shocks, Hilti installed internal copper wire inside the vacuum to improve grounding. They also designed an anti-static hose with a conical shape on one end that's designed to reduce static. There's a conical adapter as well, and a lot of folks don't know what that adapter is for. The vacuum comes in, it comes with that conical adapter, and there are ribs on the inside, and that's specifically designed to fit Hilti's jigsaw. And on the outside, it will fit their circular saw and other tools like the concrete breakers and drills. It also fits our 12-inch DeWalt miter saw, dust port, Festool's miter saw, dust port, and Milwaukee 7 1/4 miter saw, dust port. To connect to my Milwaukee cordless table saw, though, I needed to come up with a different configuration out of my bag of tricks to make that work. Room for improvement. There's not really much to complain about this vacuum other than the cost of the unit. Everybody always complains it's too much money. They just want it for free. One thing I do notice, though, that I get annoyed with is coiling the hose around that telescoping handle. It's just not neat and clean for me. I'd like to see a better way. There was really no plan for the hose unless you store it inside the tank. What I did is I went out to Ace Hardware and I bought one of those Velcro straps. A lot of guys use those for cords and they hang them on a hook. And I just Velcroed strap my hose around the handle of the telescoping handle, and it keeps it in place for me. But I wish there was a better way for that. Well, I mentioned price, and price is always a factor for folks. So the vacuum with the smaller 8-liter tank is $549 with the hose. The vacuum with the 15-liter tank is $649, and that's the shorter of the hose, the 6-foot hose. So in summary, guys, I really liked the Hilti Dust Extractor, and this upgraded dust extractor, it offers improved versatility, better power, and some more user-friendly features. It makes it a super well-rounded vacuum and a valuable tool for various applications, including wet vacuuming if that's, if you're ever in a pinch. But for me personally, this is going to be used for dust extraction from a tool. For me as a carpenter, I'm going to be attaching it to a miter saw or a table saw, or if I'm doing some concrete drilling or sanding. Primarily that's what it's going to be used for, but I also have that floor sweep, and I can do some small cleanups if I've got some dust in a house and I want to do a nice vacuum and cleanup, because it's a really well-rounded, versatile vacuum. I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you at the next review. Take care.